Hello and welcome. So today, guys, I have for you a video that if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that I do not like to come on here with any type of negativity, right? That life is challenging enough for me to add, a not so pleasant type of conversation with you. But this video has been requested, and I do know that I do need to share with you fragrances that have not been a success for me. Please keep in mind as I go through these fragrances that this is just my opinion, because many of these fragrances are definite loves for many of you. And that is perfectly fine, but they just did not work for me. And I just have to be honest with you and tell you what did not work. So I'm going to be sharing with you today several fragrances that were all launched in 2024. I did pick them up. A couple of them were blind buys, but several of them, as I used them through the months or through the weeks or whichever amount of time, they just did not work well for me. Either I just don't like how they smell for some reason, something doesn't sit well with me, or they don't perform well on my skin, or they just don't strike my fancy to the point that I want to go and pull them to use them. And as I go along, of course, I will be giving you very specific details on each. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I am totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and in this channel, we talk about all types of fragrance. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, guys. So the first fragrance that I want to share with you today comes from a fragrance house that I honestly love. It's not one of my favorite fragrance houses, but it is definitely a fragrance house that I respect and that you are very familiar with. And I'm just going to get right to it. So this fragrance is from Roja, and this is Alysium Parfum. Now, this fragrance was launched at the beginning of 2024, and I picked it up almost immediately. And when I first sniffed it, I actually liked it very much. Was it a deep love? No, it was not. But it was definitely a fragrance that I really, really liked. The thing about this fragrance, guys, is the scent is absolutely exquisite. It really is. But on my skin, it does not perform well at all. And I have to tell you, that is a first for me when it comes to Roja, because their fragrances, and I have quite a number of them, their fragrances perform very, very well consistently on my skin, on clothes, on paper. That's just been my experience with Roja. But this fragrance, this is a very light and airy and weak, and it is just a fragrance that, I'm not encouraged, or I'm not looking forward to pulling and wearing ever. So it's been quite a number of months since I've actually pulled it, whether it's to use it on its own or whether it's to layer it. And I'm not ready to declutter any of these fragrances because they're so new. They're 2024, and I want to give them a chance, right? I want to dedicate some time to each, use them several times and really make a note of what I'm observing and how I'm feeling and stuff like that, and then make a decision on whether I'm going to find them a new home or not. But I have to tell you that this one is definitely close to the chopping block. The next fragrance that I want to share with you guys is one that, oh my goodness, I just know that you guys are going to be like, what? But I just really have to be honest with you. So the next fragrance, oh God, the next fragrance is from room 1015, and this one is Wavechild. I can almost hear your reactions. I can almost hear them here. So guys, let me just say this. This is a very lovely fragrance, but this is really a fragrance that no matter how I've tried, and trust me, I've tried, it is not doing anything for me. This is one of those fragrances that when I first picked it up, I don't know if it was because of the hype, because it was so hype. I don't know if it's because of the hype or what, but you know, I thought, oh my goodness, I really like this fragrance. It was never a deep love. It was a very strong like. But then as I continued to use it, especially when we went into the spring and summer months, I just like, I just did not want to pull it. Like I was forcing myself because I just did not understand how is it that I did not like it, because the notes of the fragrance are typically notes that I absolutely love. And, you know, it was the perfect fragrance for those seasons of the year, in my opinion. But guys, it just does nothing for me. Like, I just have to be honest with you. It just doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't like, there's no passion for it, right? And I'm someone that I really need to feel that in order to pull a fragrance. This is a fragrance that has some citrus notes along with watermelon and some coconut. You can clearly pick up on the watermelon. I can clearly pick up on the coconut. You know, it is a lovely fragrance, but it's just not one that does anything for me. I am going to give it until the end of the summer season this year, 2025, and then I will make a decision on whether, you know, if I'm going to declutter it or not. But as of right now, it is definitely close to the chopping block. All right, guys. So the next fragrance that I have for you is a fragrance that I just don't even know where to start, because this is a fragrance that so many people love. And this is a fragrance that I returned immediately. And I rarely, when I tell you rarely, I rarely return a fragrance. I just, you know, I'll just gift it to a friend or a family member. Or, you know, I don't even really sell many fragrances, you know, which I need to start doing, because at some point I need to declutter. But I have to tell you, this fragrance, this was a no love for me. And I'm going to put it right up here somewhere so that you know which one I'm talking about. But I'm talking about Nest Vanilla Bourbon. Okay. That fragrance was so underwhelming to me. That is all I'm going to say about this fragrance. It's not that it was an unpleasant smell, but to be honest with you, it wasn't even a smell that immediately made me feel like, oh, I really like it. And it was a blind buy, because from looking at the notes, and the notes were like vanilla bourbon, sugar, jasmine, musk, you know, like, to me, like, how can you go wrong with that? It's like when you fry an egg at home, like if you're into eggs and you eat fried eggs, like how can you get a fried egg wrong? Well, I felt that scent profile was a safe one. So I picked up the fragrance, but I returned it almost immediately, because I knew it was just going to sit in my collection and never be picked up. And it was a fragrance that most likely I was just going to end up giving to my daughter, and she has several within that scent profile, so I just returned it. I'm going to move on. So this next fragrance, guys, is from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And this fragrance was released at the beginning of 2024. And I picked it up maybe like a month after its release. And to me, you know, based on the fact that it's from that fragrance house and the notes of the fragrance, I thought, yet again, this is a safe blind buy for me, and you know, I'm sure I'm going to love it. And this one is Reflets de Ombre. Now, this fragrance, guys, is again a lovely fragrance, but I have to be honest with you, it's like there's something in here that is not sitting well with me, and I don't understand what it is, because this is a fragrance that has some pink pepper, some patchouli. It is very ambery, you know, the name says it, but it is a very ambery fragrance. It has some patchouli, some vanilla, some pink pepper, you know, and it is a lovely fragrance, but there is something in here and I can't put my finger on it. No, it's not the patchouli, because you guys are probably, you know, patchouli is not easy, but it's not the patchouli. It's not the spiciness of the fragrance. I don't know what is in here, but it just doesn't sit well with me. And when I spray it on my skin, it's not a pleasant scent at all. So I've decided to now in this season, you know, during the months of January and February, give it a couple of more tries, try layering it with a couple of other fragrances that, you know, there's a couple of fragrances that I have in my collection that when a fragrance doesn't work for me, if I layer with those fragrances, it makes it automatically better. I'm going to try doing that, but if that doesn't work, this is definitely one that I will add to a brand new declutter list for 2025. But that's why you guys, I don't even think I brought it to the channel, because some of the fragrances that I'm going to discuss with you today, I did not even bring to the channel because I could not bring them to the channel because I just did not feel the fragrance at all. And some of these fragrances I did bring to the channel, and I told you that I wasn't sure about them. And others, a couple others I did bring to the channel and I liked them, but that has changed. Anyway, this one is definitely close to the chopping block. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you today that was also not a success whatsoever from the 2024 launches is Tom Ford's Vanilla Sex. Now guys, I know many of you love this fragrance, but I have a short, actually I have two shorts, one with the unboxing and the other one where I give you truly my honest opinion on this fragrance right before I got in my car and I went and returned it to Sephora, because this is a fragrance that was launched at the beginning of 2024. It was very pricey and I had a ton of expectations for it and it met none. I was not impressed with the juice. The juice was okay, but it wasn't something of significance as for me to pay well over $300 for a bottle. And in addition to that, you know, throughout the year, then we had another fragrance, a Middle Eastern fragrance, if I'm being honest with you, that to me is definitely Vanilla Sex, but performs very well, smells exquisitely. So yeah. So I returned that fragrance. I just did not like that fragrance, the performance, the quality of the scent. There was something synthetic in it to my nose. I don't know if it was the vanilla. I don't know what it was, but it just did not play well with me. Maybe I got a dud. Maybe I got a bad batch, but because I know many people love it. But guys, that is just my opinion. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is a fragrance from a fragrance house that I absolutely love. I have quite a number of their fragrances. It's right behind me. There's several missing from the shelf because I've been filming so many videos today. But this is a fragrance, guys, that was the ultimate underwhelming fragrance for me of 2024. And it breaks my heart to say that, but I am just not feeling this fragrance whatsoever. And this one is from Atelier des Ors, and this one is Villa Primrose. Guys, so as you can see, I haven't even been able to make a dent. If I compare it to other Atelier des Ors fragrances, like for example, Blue Madeleine is almost a half bottle at this point. This fragrance, and I have really tried because I just don't understand. So let me tell you some of the notes in this fragrance. So you have iris. You guys know how I love iris. It has pear and pink pepper and some leather. I absolutely love a leather fragrance. I do not shy away from a very unisex leather fragrance at all whatsoever. But I don't even get leather in this fragrance. This fragrance is like an airy, disappeared kind of fragrance on my skin. Like I spray it, it shows up, it's lovely to the point of me liking it. It's not a love. And then it just disappears. So that just really discourages me even more from really pulling this fragrance. So I've tried to layer with it and the layering doesn't really work very well, but I am telling you, I don't know what is it about this fragrance, but it is just not a love for me. I'm going to move on because this really breaks my heart. But anyway, Villa Primrose, a no. Oh my goodness, guys. So this is such a hard video for me because just about every fragrance that I have on this list today, guys, these are fragrances from either fragrance houses that I absolutely love and that are in my favorite fragrance house list, or fragrances that I can't wrap my head around why I do not really like them. But this next one, oh my goodness, guys. Okay, so this is Parfums De Marley. And of course, you know, I'm speaking about Palatine or Palatine. Okay, you guys know that I love purple florals. Give me an iris all day long. Give me a violet, yes. Lavender, let's go. This fragrance, I think I had very, very high expectations because coming from Parfums De Marley and giving me a purple florals fragrance in this exquisitely beautiful purple bottle, oh my goodness, right? This is a fragrance, guys, that during that time off that I had to take because, we were moving out of state, I took an entire week to dedicate to this fragrance. Not just because I was preparing a review for you guys, but because I was really trying to understand why I felt the way I felt about it. Because no, how could I, right? Parfums De Marley, purple florals. This is a must. How do you say that you do not like it? That's how I felt. But no, I'm going to stop right there. I have a dedicated review here on the channel where I tell you chapter and verse everything about this fragrance and my feel of this fragrance. You are welcome to go check it out. I'm not going to say anything more. I am moving on. And here we are next, and let me remove my little fingerprints. We are moving on next, guys, to a fragrance from my favorite fragrance house. So you must know how painful this is for me. Like, the last thing I want to do is talk about a Xerjoff fragrance that I don't even know what words to use. This pains me even more than Parfums De Marley, but we're going to have this conversation because I'm a big girl. We're going to have this conversation. So I'm speaking about Torino 23 from Xerjoff. What happened here? Where did it all go wrong? Like, Xerjoff, please. Like, okay. So let me just start by saying the following. Maybe the expectation for 23 was very high after 21 and 22. I also have to tell you that I just picked up 24, and spoiler alert, because I feel like I have to give you some sort of hope, 24 I am really, really liking. But 23, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep this in my collection. Like, I really like to pick up all the Torinos. It's a collector thing. I don't even know if I'm going to, because it's just going to sit there, which is what's been happening to begin with. It's just really sitting there. And it's such a shame. So at the beginning, I thought, you know what, it's you. You know, Xerjoff fragrances at times are quite complex, and you have to give yourself time to understand them, to grasp, right, to enjoy them. I gave myself plenty of time, and I just came to the point where I said, I'm done. I'm not trying again, because I don't want to smell like, guys, this does not smell good on my skin. And I have to tell you, as time passes, it just gets worse and worse. I'm not even going to tell you what it smells like because this is Xerjoff. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. I am going to move on. Just suffice to say that this was a definitely bad experience for me during 2024. Moving on. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is not necessarily a fail or one that I don't enjoy. No, I really enjoy this fragrance. But the problem is that this fragrance is a flanker. And every time I want to sniff that scent profile, or I'm ready to wear something from that scent profile, I keep defaulting and going back to the OG versus picking up the intense version that I picked up this year. The OG of this fragrance is one that, my goodness, I absolutely love it. It may very well be my favorite designer fragrance. But honestly, guys, let's just talk about this. So this one is Dolce Gabbana Devotion Intense. So I just don't understand. Okay, the only difference between, in my opinion and to my nose, between this one and the OG is that this one is nuttier to my nose and a tad less boozy. But at that, I don't understand why is it that I keep pulling the OG and letting this one sit, even when I want to force myself to just go pick this one up and wear it on its own. No. So what happens is that I end up picking this one up, right, and like wearing it and then spraying the other one on top. Go figure. But guys, I really do love this fragrance. It's just that somehow there is some sort of miss here with me because, again, I keep defaulting to the OG. Yeah, anyway. Dolce Gabbana Devotion Intense. Not on the chopping block, but not making me very happy. All right, guys, so this next fragrance is also a flanker. And this is a flanker that every year they're launching one, and I pretty much pick them all up, and I do enjoy this line. I love Chloe fragrances, and this one is Nomade. Nuit de Egypt. Anyway, guys, the one that was launched in 2024. Now, this is a fragrance that I really, really like. Like, it's not just lovely. No, this is a very strong like for me, bordering on love. But I just don't understand. If I feel that strongly about it and I enjoy this scent and I think that it smells incredible and it performs well and all of that good stuff, why am I not pulling it? Why is it that when I tell myself, okay, we're going to wear this and the fragrance that we're going to wear that with is Egypt from the Nomade collection, and then I go to that section and I pick any of the others from this collection, but not the Egypt. I let the Egypt sit there. So I don't know, that tells me right there that there's something, that was not a success. Because guys, when you spend your hard-earned money on a fragrance, you're supposed to use the fragrance. And yes, I review fragrances and I am your fragrance concierge. Therefore, I have quite the collection of fragrances. So it's very hard for me to even make a significant dent in one fragrance. But at the end of the day, guys, like when I have time off or days where I'm not filming, those are days where I really enjoy my fragrances. And if I take a week off, oh, I'm using at least 15 fragrances. Like, I'm not the type of person that uses one fragrance a day unless I'm testing a fragrance. Let's just put it that way, right? So, I mean, I haven't even made much of a dent in this one, and it's been months since I've had it. I don't understand. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It's not necessarily on the chopping block, but at some point I may just get tired of trying and give it to my daughter, who loves this line also. And she doesn't have this one, so I don't know. Anyway, more to come on that. All right, guys, so we have reached the very end fragrance, right? So this is the last fragrance, thank goodness, that I'm going to be sharing with you today, because this is not something I like to do at all. And when I share with you guys this one, you guys are not going to be happy. I'm kind of scared to share, but I'm going to share it. Okay. So you guys know that I love mango note fragrances. Oh my goodness, to me there's nothing better than a mango fragrance when the mango is done right. And let me talk about right? When I say mango done right, I'm not saying that the mango in every situation has to be ripe and juicy and sweet and tropical and incredible. No. It could be mango skin. It could be a green mango. It could be, a mango that's mixed with another note where the mango is not prominent, or, I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm flexible. But there is something about this next fragrance and the way the mango has been done that is not sitting well with me. And when I tell you I have tried, because this is yet another fragrance house, guys, that I absolutely love. I have so many of their bottles, and their fragrances typically are exceptional to me. I think this is the first one that I may end up putting on the chopping block, but I'm not ready to give up yet, because that's how sad I am. I really am. I'm very sad. I'm speaking about Gritti Mango Oud. Yeah. So guys, you guys know I love mango, and you guys know that I absolutely love an oud fragrance. But this fragrance, there is something in it that is not working well with me, and I don't even understand what, because let me tell you some of the notes of this fragrance. So in this fragrance, you have guava. If you've been with me for a good amount of time, you know that whenever there's a guava note in a fragrance, she jumps off of her seat, places the order. If she can go pick up the fragrance that day, she does. I love a guava note. Oh my goodness. Absolutely love it. Not here. Mango. You guys know how I love mango. I've talked about mango over and over again, whether it's in designer, Middle Eastern, Western niche, it doesn't matter. I love mango. Not doing it here. Then it has vanilla. Like, how could you go wrong with vanilla? Oud, you guys know how I love the oud. The oud is nice here. This is a good oud. This is not barnyard. No, the oud is good. Neroli. Neroli and orange blossom for me, I absolutely love it. Not doing it here. I could keep going on. What I'm trying to say is that there are notes in this fragrance that are my favorite notes in fragrances. In addition to that, a fragrance house DNA that I absolutely love. Fragrance house that I love. A concept that on paper did sound incredible. Mango Oud. Wow. Can't go wrong with that. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's something in this fragrance that is not sitting well with me. It's not about performance. It's about the scent. It's about the feel. It's about what I'm picking up from it. It's just not sitting well with me. So this was a blind buy, because for me, it was a given that I was going to absolutely love this fragrance because it's Gritti and it's mango and oud and guava, etc. You guys may recall when I talked about this fragrance on the channel, I told you that I was still trying to adjust and wrap my head around this fragrance. Well, I have tried and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and I don't know if it's going to make it. This is definitely close to the chopping block at this point, guys, because when I wear this fragrance, that is how much I am not liking what I'm getting from my skin. Not everything can be a success, I understand, but it's just really, really disappointing for me, yeah, with a fragrance like this. But anyway, I'm going to move on. Just know that you may very well see this in a future declutter video. All right, guys, so we have reached the end of today's video, and this was not enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie, this was not enjoyable, but unfortunately, not everything you pick up, especially someone like me that picks up fragrances all the time, is going to be a success. It's just not realistic. And if I were to sit here and tell you that every fragrance was a success buy in 2024, I would definitely be lying, because no, just like I already shared with you in Middle Eastern fragrances, some of the fails, you know, now I'm sharing some of the fails in designer and niche, because yeah, like, and the ones that I brought you today are really the ones that they are very, very close to being on the chopping block. There's others that still have a chance that didn't make it to this lineup, but these, yeah, except for the Devotion Intense, that one is just like, I just don't understand why I'm not pulling it, because I do love it. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today. Please let me know, what were your fails of 2024? Do you agree with any of these? Did you pick up any of these fragrances? Did you try any of them? Or are there other fragrances that were a complete fail for you? I'm very curious. That'll make me feel better that it wasn't just me. No, but seriously, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.